Yo, hold on, I'll call you back. This dude has ketchup on his hot dog. Are you serious, bro?
Dude! Are you serious?
Not my city. Okay, I guess I'll go with the beef. Perfect. Dry, dipped, or baptized? Oh, God, dipped or baptized? I don't know. I got expelled 3 times and one of my girlfriends might be pregnant and I still didn't miss the last episode of Shameless. What's your excuse? Frank, get out of the dumpster. Yo, Kev, it's Lip. I need help burning down this garage. You in? What the f are you looking at?
All right, welcome, Johnny Viti. Thank you for joining InPodSicated and getting InPodSicated with Big Z. Thank you. But
Yes.
let's get down to business. You being one of the funniest people on TikTok, on Instagram, on Facebook, on YouTube. Man, are you killing it on your shorts and your videos, man? How did you get started doing this?
Well, thank you for having me on. Yeah, I started probably 4 years ago, right before COVID, I feel like 2019, early 2020. Saw a lot of comedy sketches on, Facebook, YouTube, whatever.
Yeah.
And I always liked that kind of stuff. I'm like, I could probably do that. I was trying to do like acting, like actual acting before. Wasn't really doing much. I'm like, I'll just make my own content. Wasn't doing that well, obviously, at first. You put anything out at first, no one knows who you are. And then I had a random video where it was like Chicago tourist or something like that, and it blew up like 500,000 views on Facebook, of all places, in like 3 days. I'm like trying to figure out why this one blew up compared to the rest.
Yeah.
Because I didn't think it was that good. And that one, I didn't have a cameraman. I like held the camera myself, like a little selfie stick thing. It was like one of the old video. I don't even know if it's still up, but and then I realized it's because of Chicago. So I did like a Chicago North Side versus South Side, and then that one got like 1.5 million in like 3 days. And I'm like, oh, okay, there might be something here with Chicago. And then I do more than just Chicago stuff, but that's like my bread and butter, and that's what I'm known for. And I never really stopped since. I tried to make like at least a weekly video. So grinding for like 2 to 3 years, and it finally picked up to where it is now. The last like year, it really blew up. Yeah, so now it paid off, thankfully.
Thankfully, yes. I mean, a lot of the stuff is funny just because it is Chicago centric, and we Chicagoans can't identify with it because you're talking about North Side versus South Side, right? The Cubs and versus Sox, your firemen versus police officers, all those.
Yeah.
I mean, they're not original ideas. You're just giving them a light and you're giving them some comic aspect to it, which is pretty much what everybody at the bar is doing, anyways, right? Everyone's just shooting the shit. Oh, cops only do this. So fire, and you're putting it on screen, and it's hilarious because it's something that you would see on SNL. Those are the type of skits that you're doing.
Exactly. Yeah. That's a good way to put it. How like you be in a bar shooting the shit. That's like a lot of ideas I come up with sometimes. It's stuff I grew up around, or like I'll just be like like people watching. Or I'll be like doing something. I'll look over, someone's having a conversation, or like eavesdropping something. I'm like, oh, that's kind of funny. Obviously, I'll exaggerate it for the comedy, but yeah, a lot of times just ordinary everyday stuff. And you kind of just tweak it a little bit to make it funny or outrageous, and then that's a video. It's pretty simple sometimes.
How long does it take you from idea to filming?
If I have a solid idea, like I've like say like let's take this cop versus fireman for instance. Like my dad's a firefighter. He's retired, but like for 30 years for CFD. So so I grew up around that. Cop neighbors, they'd always banter, drink in the garage, whatever. So when I thought of that idea, let's say for instance, once I had the idea down, I'd say like on and off 2 or 3 days to write it, just like coming back to it every like couple hours. It depends. Sometimes it takes me like 20 minutes to write a script. Sometimes it might take me a few days, like an hour here, hour there. I gotta like sleep on it, whatever. But and then filming it takes like about 2 hours, editing it another 2 hours. So it's actually a lot quicker than I thought. But yeah, I think right around.
Process is a lot quicker now that you know exactly what you're doing.
Yeah, back then it was a lot. Yeah, a lot longer. But now I'm pretty good at it where I can get it down quicker.
Yeah, and then you've been adding other characters to your skits now, which I think is hilarious. Who are these people that you're putting in these skits?
So Eric, the Hispanic dude with the beard and the nice hair, that's my filmer. Or I should say one of my filmers. I think he's a good actor. So like if I need like, hey, I need like a back and forth video. I used to play them both myself, both characters.
Yeah. Right.
But I'm like, oh, that's kind of lame. It should be 2 different people. Like it just sells it better. So sometimes I'm like, hey, just read these lines, see if you can do it. He goes, all right, and then he did it. Like he'd start with like having like if I needed an extra character with like 3 lines, and then it kind of grew to like, oh, let's just have you as the second character. My buddy Gerard, who's the other, that's Eric's business partner. They have like a media company, Ghost Media. So they work together. So that's how I know Gerard. I met him through him. My buddy Andrew, he's usually the Cubs fan in the skits.
Mhm.
My old skits, my buddy Johnny O'Shea, he's my other filmer I started with. He's in the old ones. I don't know. The newer ones, not as many. And then some people just hit me up on Instagram, like, hey, or like some creators that do it. Andrew's also a creator, so that's how he found me. He just DM me one day, hey, want to like make a video? I was like, yeah, sure. So I'll find anyone. If like you're believable on camera, like you don't have to be like a creator. Like a lot of them are just my buddies. So
That's awesome because you can tell like there's a chemistry on
Mhm.
screen and it seems seamless. So
Yeah,
it's great that you have that, especially like we're always making fun of Naperville, which is I
yeah,
just love that because people from Naperville are like, oh, I'm from Chicago. Like, no, you're not.
yeah. It's funny because I've run into multiple people from Naperville
Yeah,
that are like, oh, like I love your videos, and they always love that I make fun of Naperville. They're like, oh, when you like make fun of Naperville, we love it. I'm from there, but I love it, and it's all in good fun. Obviously, I have nothing actually against Naperville, but it's just they're an easy target.
they are
Um,
pretty much an
but
easy.
it's funny. But it's funny that they like being made fun of. It's kind of so that makes me want to do it more. So
All right, so we're gonna settle this. Cubs fan or Sox fan?
you ready for this?
I'm ready for it.
I'm a Sox fan, but a Red Sox fan.
That's all good. It's still a Sox.
Yeah, so I always tell people Sox. I got family from the East Coast. So I was raised a Red Sox fan. I'm Chicago, everything else. Big
Yeah.
Bears fan. Love the Hawks. Bulls, I guess. I'm not a big basketball guy, but I like the Bulls. But yeah, I was raised watching it on the East Coast with my grandpa, who was a huge Red Sox fan, and so yeah, ever since I was like a little kid, I've been rocking Red Sox gear. Um, but I like both teams, White Sox, Cubs. Like I don't mind. Like since they're Chicago, I like when they win. Obviously, people say you can't be both, but since I'm neither, I can be both.
Yeah.
Um,
You
but I
like
grew
who?
up around Sox fans a lot. That's why I have a Sox character so well. Is because all my friends. I grew up on the South Side, in Mount Greenwood, so
Okay.
everyone is a Sox fan over here. So all my friends are Sox fans. Everyone. So like I know the character very well. That's why I play it so well or play it so much because it's fun because I know
Yeah.
it.
Now most people would very much assume that you're a Sox fan just because
Exactly. Yeah.
you have
And
the
plus the
accent.
South Side plus the
Yeah.
Sox.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, it's funny. People say I have an accent. I don't realize I have an accent because I'm from here. So it's like you have a Chicago accent. I'm like, do I?
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I first heard that when I went to Boston. I went to Boston for
Mm-hmm.
Sox Yanks. And
Sox win.
like Sox won, yeah.
Oh hell yeah! All right, good.
Oh yeah.
Hate the Yankees. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
We could agree on that.
Yeah. I had I had like a zip up White Sox zip up, but I did go buy a Red Sox t-shirt and a Red Sox hat. I'm
Oh,
like I'm a
nice.
sport. I'm like, there's no way I'm wearing Yankee shit.
Oh yeah. Hell no. Yeah.
So as soon as people started seeing that I was like, I'm a Sox person, they're like, oh, you're
Yeah.
cool. And then they
Yeah.
started telling me like, oh, you're from Chicago. You got that accent. I'm like, oh, you're
It's
gonna
like
make fun of
we
me?
have an accent. Yeah, like
I got an
Boston
accent.
accent, so obvious. Yeah, Boston. Yeah.
Austin with the cockies.
Yeah,
Um,
exactly. It's like, yeah, yeah.
so tell me about your first experience with the Boston Red Sox. You mentioned your grandfather, but what was that? What was your
Yeah.
experience?
So my mom's dad, so my grandpa, my Italian side, they're from Rhode Island. So I used to go there every year in the summer just to visit her family. I family have still live out there. Um, and ever since I was a kid, I just remember watching. He'd always have a Red Sox game on because we'd always visit in summer, so right in the middle of baseball season.
Hmm.
And obviously, he's always been a Red Sox fan, so a game was always on in the house. And I just remember sitting on the couch with them. I used to always just watch the game with them. This was like early 2000s, so they won in '04
Right.
when they broke the curse and everything. I remember I was born in '92, so like I was almost turning 12 when that happened. It took him 75 years to see one ring. It took me 11 years. So, and I've seen 4. So I'm very lucky in that aspect. But I just remember watching the games with him. Games always on in the house, and yeah, just we'd always be watching, especially at night. We'd do something during the day, and then they play a night game. We'd just sit on the couch until time for bed when I was like a kid, and then watch the game, then go to bed.
Did you ever want to live there, or did you ever stay there for a while?
I think the most we vacationed there was like 2 weeks at a time when I was a kid. But no, I mean I visited there multiple times. I used to I was gonna go this year, but I didn't. I mean, he passed away 2 years ago, but I mean, he was in Chicago when he passed away, but I haven't been out there since his funeral. So I'll probably go next year. Just it's a nice state. It's very like right by the ocean. You know, it's just a nice. I mean, I grew up going there every single year, so I'm very used to it. I wouldn't mind living there. Honestly, it's very quiet. It's like the antithesis of Chicago. It's not noisy. It's quiet. It's got ocean. You know, it's
Yeah.
very
I
different.
mean, it's different because it's a smaller, especially the
Oh,
streets.
very small state. Yeah, I think
Yeah,
Chicago's bigger population wise,
yeah,
but
yeah. But I mean, everybody was super nice. You know, I did all the touristy things out there. You know, I went to the
mm,
Kennedy Museum. I went to Cheers. You know, I did all that stuff.
yeah.
It was a pretty cool place, and people were very nice.
Mm.
Learned how to take the train out there. That turned into a bus. I was like, this is the most awesome thing in the world.
Yeah, it's weird. Very different.
Very different, very old. But you did mention also your father was a firefighter, retired firefighter now.
Yeah,
What was that like growing up with a dad who was
it's kind of
public?
cool. Because I used to visit him at the firehouse sometimes, so we go on runs with him. Like, say we're visiting and a fire happens, he'll just throw me in the back of the rig, and like, I would just go to a fire with him. I remember sliding because we have a long lineage. My great grandpa was a firefighter for Chicago. My grandpa, my uncle, my cousin, my dad, and then me and my brother kind of ruined it because we're both neither firemen. Uh, but my cousin is. I mean, it's still living, but yeah, no, it was cool. I always thought firefighting was cool. Just like it's just like a cool profession. It's wild. I mean, running the fires. I mean, that's got to be adrenaline kind of type thing. But it was cool. It was like when I was younger, I was kind of more worried because it's like, oh shoot, my dad's running into fires. Like, hopefully he's all right. But the older I got, he was more of an engineer, so he would drive and then stay outside of the fire, which was cool.
Hmm.
But yeah, I remember as a kid, I used to go there. I used to slide down the fire pole, which every kid wanted to do. So, especially my grandpa being a firefighter, so we visit him. Yeah, so I was always at firehouses sometimes as a kid growing up. So it was very cool.
Yeah. And you said you grew up in Mount Greenwood,
Yeah,
so obviously that's very populated with police officers and
yeah, cops and
firefighters.
firefighters. Yeah,
Right. So you have that aspect where you have the dichotomy of those two who, while they support each other, they hate each other when we talk shit.
yeah, like the friendly rivalry. Yeah,
Yeah, but you're not now. You're the son, and you go to school. Did that still transfer over?
not really. No, I mean, at least not for me. I mean, a lot of my friends' dads were cops or firemen, but it
Mhm.
never like transcended to us. I feel like it's
Okay.
not like, oh, my dad's better, he's a cop. I don't think I
Right.
ever had anything like that. But like my dad could beat up your dad type thing.
Yeah. Exactly.
But no, I mean, we said that, but not because of cops and firemen. We just said that because we were kids. But
There's your next skit.
yeah, right. Coppers, firefighter, kids, kids edition. There you go.
Yeah. How is it? How crazy is it for you to now be 4 years into what you're doing and it's finally starting to pay off? Was there a point in time where you were thinking about giving it up, maybe stopping for a bit, maybe reassessing what you're doing?
The thoughts were always there, but I never like thought I was actually gonna quit because I was just I'm so deep, and it's like I had nothing to fall back on really. So I was like, like I might as well keep going. And there's always it's funny you say that because every time I even had those doubts or something, I'd always get a random message on like Facebook, hey man, love your videos, keep it up. I was like, all right, like this is why I keep it, And like I
Yep.
felt like every time I got one of those messages, it was right when I kind of needed it. So it was kind of cool. How yeah, it's definitely had those thoughts for sure. I don't think I would have ever actually quit, but maybe slow down just because like if I couldn't afford it or something. I mean, I was always working while doing it, but now I quit my job where I can do this full time, so that's nice. That's when I consider me like turning a corner is when I can quit my job. Um, so that was cool. But yeah, no. Thankfully, I never had to quit. So, but yeah, 4 long years. It's been a while. It's kind of wild to think about, because I look back at my old videos. I mean, some are deleted. Some I still have my hard drive, and it's just like not only were they bad, but like the way I edited back then was so different, and like it's kind of crazy how much better I got at doing things from 4 years ago to today. Just even like editing, writing, just any aspect of it. So I'm thankful I got better.
And each one of these aspects have been self-taught.
Yeah, never went to school for anything really. I mean, not for like, I went to one semester of college and that was it. But yeah, I mean, I was always a computer nerd as a kid. Like at first,
Okay.
I built like, like I built my first computer when I was like 14 in high school. I would always like mess around with Photoshop or video editing, just because it just intrigued me. And always been good with computers. Yeah, big gamer too. Kind of nerdy, honestly. So,
So what? You
um,
don't play 16-inch softball?
oh, I do. Not with a group though. I don't have like a league or anything, but no, I love sports.
Yeah.
I grew up skateboarding actually. I
Okay.
didn't play organized sports. I loved football growing up as a kid, like with buddies. I never played like organized, but I grew up as a skater. That was like really big when I was a kid. Like Viva La Bam was on, like Tony Hawk was on top of the world. Like that was my childhood.
Okay. All right. Yeah.
Jackass, stuff like that.
The tail end of the MTV era.
Yeah, when
That-
MTV was actually MTV. Now it's just like, yeah.
yeah, that's the worst of it. Um, yeah, I can't even put that channel on.
Mm.
If you're anything like me, you're your own worst critic.
Oh
Where
yeah, big time.
you may write something or produce something or edit something. You're like, oh, this is the worst thing ever, and then someone sees it, it's like, dude, it's fine. How you push through being your worst critic?
So I feel like now I have a really good grasp of what will be good or maybe won't be as good, or this might go really viral. This one might. Um, Honestly, I have a few friends now I can show it to. Be like, hey, look, be on, and they'll be honest. Like, "Dude, this sucks. Like, let me know it sucks. Like
Mhm.
what sucks about it. Like, and a lot of times, like you said, they'll be like, dude, this is fine. Like, what are you talking about? Like, but I'm very, very critical. Um, Even writing. Sometimes I write a whole script and like I try to like rehearse it like in my apartment walking around. My neighbor probably thinks I'm schizophrenic or something. But but like walking around and like trying to like feel out the script or even like record some part of my phone just to see how it translates to video. Because sometimes you write something and then when you actually film it, it just doesn't come out how you thought.
Mhm.
But I feel like I don't know. I feel like showing it to people or I don't know. That's a good because even today I'm still kind of hypercritical where I'm like I don't know if I want to release this or even to this day I'll every time I post a video I have a ritual where I don't look at my phone or the social media I post it on for 2 hours. So say I posted at 4 o'clock I won't check Instagram until 6 because I don't know it's some weird thing
Yeah,
I
because
don't
you're
know.
like, no one's seen it. What the hell?
Yeah, so like I'll wait 2 hours, see how it picks up, and blah blah blah. Yeah, so it's weird. Some people are like, hey, the new video's doing well. I'm like, shut up, don't tell me. It's not been 2 hours. So a lot of my friends know that already, and they just won't text me for the first 2 hours I release something. I'm really weird, yeah. So I think just showing people or just getting over the fear of it bombing, because like I said, I have a good grasp now of what if something's not good, I won't put it out. I've done that where I film the video, edit it, I'm like, this is not good enough. I'm not even gonna show it to someone I know already it's not good enough.
Mhm.
So I don't
Yeah.
know.
What does that feel like? Because you're
It
like, I
sucks
put it,
because
make
I got
it
to pay my
beautiful.
filmer. I wasted all this time. Now I have no video this week, so that's why I really try to make sure I like something before I do it. I mean, it
Mhm.
happens once in a while. It doesn't happen nearly as much anymore. But it happened recently actually, a couple weeks ago. But I filmed 2 videos that week, and I'm like, which one should I put out? And then one, I was like, I like this one. I might just keep it in the vault. So maybe one day, but
I mean, are you of the set? I mean, obviously you're being hypercritical of your videos, and obviously, like we said, we're our own worst enemy when it comes to that.
sure.
But are we of the mindset of any content is good content to have out there, especially if you're a creator who has a schedule, like you say, you post at 4 o'clock.
Yeah, it's depends. Like if something I'm not in love with, I'd be like, it's good enough to release. But even then, I feel like because I want every video I put out to be like top tier or like better than the last, which obviously is unrealistic. But no, yeah, I think I kind of agree with that concept of all content is good content, unless it's like complete trash and it's like,
Yeah.
what is this? This is not like normal stuff. But yeah, I mean, say like I release a video. Let's just say on average I average 500,000 views a video, and I put out a video and it gets like 80,000. I feel like that's better than putting nothing out that week.
Yeah.
Like sure it is not as good as the rest, but if it's not bad, I feel like it's good. Like if it's not like a bad video, it just might not be as popular. Then yeah, I have no problem with that. But sometimes if it's just like not funny, it might be like, what is this?
Yeah,
So
I
I
can
kind of agree with that.
completely agree with that. Because in my other podcast with True Chicago Sports, it's like it's such a grind because it's kind of you reporting the news and
Yeah.
you have to keep up with the latest news. And we used to record on Sundays after the Bears games, and we kept that schedule going into baseball. And then like Sunday night would
Mhm.
never fail. Breaking news. This happened and this happened. Like, man, we already did the show. I already edited it. I already put it out.
Yeah.
I'm like, son of a. But then
Yeah.
it's like,
It's like,
oh
yeah,
man,
because it's like, yeah, you missed the big news.
right. You missed a big news wave. So it's like
Mhm.
it's such a hard thing. Um,
Yeah, sports gotta be hard with that because sports can break news can break at 3 in the morning on like a Tuesday. There's no schedule for sports. It just happens when it happens.
yeah. And for us, like when we first started was during the pandemic. We started during the I'm sorry,
Pandemic.
the last dance. The
Oh,
last
last name.
when the last dance came out. So we had just introduced our new Instagram and we posted the security guard doing a shrug and we're like, hey, the only
Oh
man
yeah.
to beat Jordan one-on-one, and
Yeah, yeah.
then his son ended up messaging us, hey, that was my father, John Michael, and he sent pictures with him and Jordan and him and his and all the security guards, and that's how it just started serendipitously. I was
Mhm.
off during the summer, that was going on. It's an interview. My
Yeah.
first our first episode is just me and interviewing him. I had no idea what to doing. I literally recorded with an iPad and a phone and learned how to use GarageBand that same night.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it sounds bad. If you go back and listen to that one episode, it sounds the
Yeah.
worst. But I tell people there's no reason for me to go back and make it look sound and look all pretty if it just reminds me of where I started and where
No,
I'm
that's
at now.
good.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
like
and plus, yeah, especially if like you interviewed someone like that high caliber, it's like no one's gonna nitpick like, oh, the audio's a little bad. There's like, oh, hell yeah, like an interview, like they're gonna like, if I, like a celebrity, like I love Al Pacino, let's say for instance, if I see
mhm,
like an old interview with him I never seen before, and it's like bad quality, bad, I wouldn't care. I'd be like, oh, hell yeah, like a new, like as long as you're interested in the topic, which I guess goes back to what I was saying about should I post it? It's like it's probably fine in the end. You're probably overthinking it, so yeah, it's exactly it's probably all in my head, but yeah, what are you gonna do? My own
mhm.
biggest enemy.
Which is your favorite skit that you've done?
Goodfellas one. That
Oh
one
my
is
god.
funny because that one came out of desperation. Because I remember for like that whole week, I could not think of an idea. I had
Uh-huh.
like a notepad. I was in my apartment. Like I'm not even joking. For days, I was sitting there. I wake up, go to the gym, do my normal routine, and I was like trying to think of an idea for that week, and I couldn't. I was like tapped out of ideas. I had like brain lock or whatever you call it, like writer's block. And I texted my filmer. I'm like, "Yo, can you film this weekend?" He goes, "Yeah, I can do Saturday." I was like, "All right." And then Saturday comes, I don't have an idea still. I'm like, "Are you free tomorrow? Sunday?" He goes, "Yeah, we can do Sunday." And it worked out better because this was like April, I think, when the weather it was like still snowing because of Chicago.
Mhm.
But Sunday was like a random 70-degree day, sunny. I'm like, this would be perfect. And I'm trying to think of an idea. And I had an idea of like Goodfellas, a little different Goodfellas sketch. And I'm like, no, I don't like that. I'm like, what can I do with Goodfellas that'd be funny? And initially I had it if he was a Sox fan or a Bears fan or something like that. I'm like, no, I'm like, no, let's make him a South Sider. So then I basically just, copied the movie, like the how he said stuff and replaced it with Chicago stuff. But I came up with that video idea like Saturday night and I wrote that in like 20 minutes. And it was
It's
like it's my favorite video because I love Goodfellas, obviously. I thought it came out well. It was easy to film because there was a lot of voiceover, so it was a lot of just like shots without talking.
mhm.
So I tried to mimic all the shots I did in the movie, but make it like Chicago-ish. Um, yeah, that video was like rushed, but it came out so well that I loved it. That was my favorite one to shoot, I think, and favorite one because I remember while I was editing it, I remember I sent messages to my film. I'm like, dude, I don't care if this video gets 5 views. This is the greatest video we've done like today. So I remember saying that to him on Instagram, like, this is fucking awesome. And he goes, oh hell yeah! And then yeah, we ended up putting it out, and it did great, obviously. And it was yeah, that was such a good video. I loved it.
That's definitely one of my favorite videos.
Mm.
Um, is there somebody you would want to collaborate with, and or would you like to continue to, as you grow, add more people to your skits?
Yeah. I guess I'm trying to. I don't watch a lot of people that do skit because like I don't like accidentally being what's the word for it? like I don't want to accidentally steal an idea. 'Cause sometimes you watch a video and then like you realize like, oh, that's funny, and then like, oh wait, that guy did it. That's why I thought of it.
Mm,
Um, I mean, he doesn't really make videos anymore, but the OG Jimmy Tatro, he made a lot of frat boy type. Like 2011, he would make like weekly comedy sketches. He was like my main inspiration. He was like the first guy to do comedy sketches. He's like an actor now. He does like movies and stuff, or like the Real Bros of Simi Valley, if you've ever heard of that. It's like a Facebook show he did. It's really funny. But I would say him, Jimmy Tatro. Um, yeah, if you ever check out his stuff, he's like from, like I said, like 2010 is when he started.
okay.
That's when YouTube was like in its infancy. But yeah, I would say probably him. He was like the one that inspired me to make skits in the first place.
Mhm. Anybody on screen, like from movies or
Oh,
shows that you
movies, Al Pacino. That's, oh my God. I mean, he's so old now. He's probably gonna be dead by the time if I ever get into a movie. But yeah, Al Pacino for sure. I've probably seen almost every movie he's been in. Um, and then, but someone maybe my age. I like Miles Teller a lot in
yes.
movies. He's really, really underrated, I feel like.
Uh,
Um,
Whiplash is probably one of my favorite
Whiplash.
movies.
I actually just rewatched that recently. It's such like, yeah, he's such a like a. I feel like a natural actor. Like I don't know, his roles are maybe it's just his roles are really, really good for what he is.
Mhm.
He was also in that firefighter movie. I forget what it's called. It's about like the Arizona fire, the hot shots, whatever.
They
Yeah,
were the yeah,
it's like a
that's one of
true
my favorite
story.
with Josh
Yeah,
Brolin, right?
yeah.
Yeah,
He's really good in that.
that yeah, yeah. He's a
Yeah,
drug addict, recovering drug
yeah, and
addict.
then he
It's
becomes
really
like one of the hot shots, and then he's like the only survivor. Yeah, that's a true story too. It's kind of wild.
mhm,
So yeah, that was he. I don't know. He's really War Dogs too was really funny. Him and Jonah Hill.
yeah,
Yeah, I think he's really, really underrated. So yeah,
you know. Do you watch any SNL? We mentioned it earlier. SNL, is that something that
not
uh,
anymore.
not
Back in the
anymore?
day, it was funny. I feel like now it's kind of jumped the shark. I mean, there's still some. I still see some online, but as a kid, I would kind of watch it growing up. But
Mhm.
like Chris Farley and stuff, that was the classic.
Yeah,
But not anymore, really. I think the last one I saw was like a Bill Burr one a couple of years ago. He's one of my favorite comics. Um, Bill Burr and Norm Macdonald, rest in peace. Those are
yeah,
probably my two favorite comics growing up.
yeah. Right now, I have not watched this past season, but in prior seasons, like it's towards the end of the show where it's like the writers' room, like the guys that
Yeah.
don't get any screen time, so they
Mhm.
get like a little skit at the end, and
Oh, okay.
they're brainstorming about, and it's like three guys, three bros in an apartment, and it's like a natural thing. It makes sense.
Yeah.
They're not good looking enough to be on screen, but they're funny enough to be one of the writers,
Yeah.
and the skits that they have, I thought it was really, really well done. So like
Nice.
it kind of reminds me of what you're doing and stuff like where it's just a natural transition from writing to acting, and
Mhm.
it being a natural funny thing. You said Bill Burr, one of your favorite Conor McDonald. Do you go to comedy shows?
No, I've never actually been to a comedy show in person.
Oh wow.
Yeah. Stand up. People always ask if I do stand up. I've never done stand up. One guy told me that, or sorry, I did an interview once, and the guy was interviewing me. He's like, "Yeah, my buddy told me that he saw you at one of your shows." I was like, "I've never done a show." And one guy told me that he remembers when he goes, "Oh yeah, this guy performed at my wedding." I'm like, "Who are these people?" That I don't know who you thought was at your. Oh,
Oh,
sorry.
it's all right.
Who was at your? My bad.
Your doppelganger.
Yeah, the like some guy like, and then he doubled down. I guess that he's like, "No, I went to a show. It was him." So, am I full screen still? Let's see.
No, you're good. You're
Oh, there
good.
we go. Okay, got it.
All right.
But yeah, so I don't know. I must have a doppelganger, or they got me confused with someone else. But I've had two people tell me like, "No, dude, like I've been to your show." I was like, "I've never performed a stand-up show in my life, or even done stand-up." Um, but no, maybe I don't know. I never wanted to. I was always more like the acting in front of a camera type.
Hmm.
I like stand-up, but I never want to do it. I guess I don't know. But no, I guess I gotta go. I was gonna go to a Bill Burr show, but I think it's sold out. It was like last year, I think, or 2 years ago. He was in
Yeah,
Chicago for like a
about
doubleheader, like
2 years
2 years.
ago. Yeah, I went to that show. I
Nice.
don't I don't remember much. I was super
Uh,
inebriated.
well, at least you didn't yell to him and they get made fun of. A lot of people get drunk
No.
and yell to him, and then he makes fun of them. Yeah.
Yeah, it's funny enough that I was getting hooked up at the bar, and then I got into the show, and I still have my cell phone. and you're not supposed to have your
Oh,
cell phone. And I'm over here taking
oh,
pictures and this and that, and I didn't even get in trouble. I was like,
probably because they're probably filming it for like a
a
thing.
special, yeah, yeah.
Oh, that's funny.
So
So you
I
snuck
got
your
home.
phone in
I'm
on
like, look at all
accident.
these pictures. Everyone's like, how'd you
Yeah.
get pictures? I'm like, yeah,
I was drunk and somehow I didn't get my phone up. There you go.
yeah, yeah.
Probably crotched
Oh,
it.
yeah.
Put it in your underwear. I don't have a
Hey,
phone. Yeah,
yeah.
that's
I
funny.
walk around like this. Um,
Yeah, for real.
so and we're talking about acting. That's something that you always wanted to do. Are you still aspiring to be an actor?
Yeah, I put it to a backseat for a bit because I was like, this was starting to blow up, and I was like, I should try to concentrate on one thing at a time. But I just got
Mm,
new headshots. I'm gonna try to apply to agencies and try to get like a TV film agent. So we'll see.
okay.
But yeah, definitely that's still the probably end goal. Hopefully, I have no problem doing this, but like if that opportunity still arose, I would probably still definitely go after that.
Like be a random Law and Order
That'd be
person.
cool. Yeah, some
You know how
dude
many
getting
people have
like
been on Law and Order that
yeah,
actually
oh yeah,
blow up
always.
later?
It's funny, dude. It's so funny seeing like successful people and like you look at them, one of their first roles, always like Law and Order. Yeah, some guy getting like mugged or something or stealing something from a store.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's crazy, man. Everyone's got to start somewhere, man. And
But I want Law and Order because my mom loves that show, so I would love to be on that show just so she could watch it. She's like, "Yeah, that's me." Just not tell her and just, "Hey, mom, new episode. Watch tonight." Just me getting jumped or something.
what type of roles do you think you would fit into?
um, it'd be fun to do like an Italian one, like a mobster one. That's always. I'm a big Sopranos fan, of course. Anything mafia related. Um, I don't know if I'm intimidating enough. That's the thing. I feel like you ever seen Swingers? Vince
Uh-huh.
Vaughn. I feel
Hmm.
like a movie like that I would do well in. Like a coming of age type something like that, or just some or like Hangover, just like a bullshit comedy. I don't know, something like that. I think would be fun, but also drama. I feel like drama would be fun too, like something serious. Just see if I can do it. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a fan of all types of movies, and
I
recently,
like thrillers. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, A Few Good Men was one of the movies that just
Oh,
popped up.
that's the
Jack Nicholson, Tom Cruise.
Tom Cruise. Yeah, it's when they get it's like the Navy dudes getting like sued or something, right?
So
Or
he orders a
what?
code red. So essentially,
Mm,
he ordered for that kid to get beat up because he couldn't be a sufficient what is he Marine or Navy person.
yeah.
So essentially, the kid had asthma, so he couldn't run up the hill. And because he couldn't run up the hill, he slowed down the platoon, and they all got in trouble. And then they ordered a code red. So one of my favorite scenes is the Tom Cruise, Jack Nicholson back and forth, where
Mm,
you can't
you can't
handle the
handle the
truth.
truth.
Like,
Yeah.
yeah, he's like, and then you have Jack Nicholson's speech that goes on for like 4.5 minutes. And,
Mm.
and then when you hear about the stories about how he was, and he just did that in one shot,
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
he just read it straight through with
Mhm.
no problem. Is that easy, something that's easy for you to remember lines and be able to spit them out?
So my videos, I obviously go line by line because it cuts between people, so we don't have to memorize. Thank God. Back when I was doing acting though, or like doing short films and stuff,
Yeah.
I got used to memorizing lines. That was one of the hardest parts for me. But like, the more you do it, it's kind of easier it is. Especially if you do a lot of takes. The more takes you do, it kind of just, you just kind of remember it. But monologues, I remember I did a monologue for an audition, and it was like 2 minutes, and I nailed it pretty decently. I think I still remember it. I remember it so long. Like I haven't done it in like years. Um, it uh like I still have it memorized kind of. It's weird. It's like I was always told like if you repeat something 17 times or 27, something like that, and then stop for a little bit and then do it again, like it's and then go to sleep, you'll remember it. I forget. There's all these weird tricks and techniques.
Hmm.
But that's it's definitely hard. But I feel like if you're doing it every day and you're an actor for like years, like it's just comes natural. Because some of these guys get the scripts the day before and they got to memorize like pages worth until like for next morning, and they do
Yeah.
it no problem. It's like wow, like
Yeah.
it must be like a second nature if you're like an experienced actor.
Yeah, I would feel like that's super hard to do with these like very popular
Oh
shows or popular
yeah,
movie franchises where everything's on their lock and key,
yeah,
and you get
yeah.
the script a day or hours before, and it's like,
Hmm.
all right, go ahead, start learning.
Yeah,
Uh,
at least movies like they're like 2 hours long. A TV show, it's like if each episode's an hour and there's like 15 episodes, like that's a lot of memorization.
yeah,
Like you
and then
memorize every
yeah,
day.
well, remember back in the day, like shows were they would go on from September all the way to May, and you're looking at
Mhm.
what 27 episodes.
Yeah.
Now we're accustomed to 10 episode seasons now.
Yeah, like 10 to 12. Yeah.
Right? Yeah. So it's like, oh my God, like, can you imagine, like you say, Law and Order, right?
Oh
Learning
God.
all those monologues, and then like, all right, now you have to make sure that you say these terms correctly, like ER or
Yeah. Yeah.
Grey's
So it's not
Anatomy.
only it's not only memorizing, it's like then acting on top of that. It's like, yeah, you still gotta act. It's like the thing in The Sopranos, it said James Gandolfini was working like 16-hour days every day for the last couple seasons. Like that's you barely time to sleep, see your family, like do
Yeah,
anything.
it really took a toll on him. And if you, I
Yeah.
don't know if you noticed this, but in any opening scene as he's walking in, he's eating something.
Oh yeah. Oh God, I
So
keep doing that. Okay, sorry. Yeah,
it's
like, he's always eating. I think the opening scenes every season too, he grabs a newspaper as well.
yeah,
Yeah, but he's always eating something because he's probably just filming for 16 hours. So he's
but
probably
then
hungry.
yeah, how many takes of eating something
Yeah, you got to do.
tabacool
Yeah, a lot
or
of times people spit it out.
yeah,
Like you notice some scenes people don't swallow the thing because like
yeah,
once they say cut, they'll spit it out, get a new apple or whatever they're eating. So yeah,
yeah.
it must just be like annoying.
Ye-
Or he picks his food a lot. It's always pasta, so he's always like stabbing it really hard. You
yes.
notice, and he barely eats it. He just stabs it. Yeah, it's funny. Yeah.
Oh man. So is it? I mean, obviously we were talking about Soprano. We're talking about Goodfellas. What can you give me your top 5 shows and movies?
Sopranos, Breaking Bad was always one for me, and then Sopranos
Uh,
finally overtook it. Breaking Bad is so good. Better Call Saul too. I mean, it's a prequel, but
it's a slow burn too.
it's slow at first. But like, I love that whole universe of Breaking Bad, so like, I was so intrigued. I watched that live. Like every week, I'd watch the episode. I would probably say Sopranos number one. I'll go TV shows and movies. So TV shows,
Yeah.
Sopranos, Breaking Bad. I'll consider Better Call Saul with Breaking Bad. It's the same universe. It's a mini series, but Band of Brothers, really, really good.
Great show.
Love those, like the Pacific, all that.
Mhm.
The Wire, I would say.
Okay.
Anything HBO. HBO was on top of the world in the mid 2000s. See for 5. I've never seen Game of Thrones yet. I was gonna, but then like the ending, everyone said sucks, so I just kind of lost interest. What's another good show?
You're doing HBO. You're looking at Boardwalk Empire, Westworld.
Mm.
Um,
I would say maybe Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. I grew up watching that.
mhm,
I'd say that's one of my favorite sitcoms. That or Roseanne were like my two I watched as a kid.
yeah.
Movies though, I would say Godfather. I'll put 1 and 2 together because Goodfellas probably 2. I'm gonna get hate for this. I'll put it at 5. I'll put Titanic at 5. I don't care.
What?
Yeah,
Titanic? Oh
Titanic
my
is some of the best costume design. Love DiCaprio. Rose sucks. She kind of ruined the movie, but
fuck that.
I don't know, something about that movie. Yeah, she kept like just go on the ship and you'll be safe. No, I'm gonna keep jumping back. Like you ruined it. I love Edward Norton. So American History X was such a good movie. It's
Oh,
such a raw
yes,
movie. It's so like it's like it's not like filtered at all, which I like. It's like very real. So
mhm.
American History X is probably up there. Maybe Good Will Hunting.
Yes.
A great
Really,
movie. Love
it's not
Matt
your fault.
Damon.
Yeah, it's not
Ben
your fault.
Affleck too. Yeah, it's not your fault. Yeah. I probably rewatch that movie every year or so.
Yeah.
But if not Titanic at 5, I'd probably slide in maybe Interstellar. Well, no, let's see. God, there's so many
Anything,
movies.
anything
I mean,
Christopher Nolan.
my top five could be all Al Pacino movies if I wanted
Okay.
it to be. Like Serpico. Oh, sorry, no, I take that back. 2 is okay. So it goes Godfather 1 and 2 for 1,
Uh-huh.
Dog Day Afternoon for 2.
Dog Day
I think
Afternoon.
Dog Day Afternoon is Pacino's best movie. 3 is Goodfellas. 4, I'll say American History X, and 5, I'll bump down Titanic and put Good Will Hunting. That's what I'll do.
We'll accept that.
All right.
It's not
Love
your.
Titanic though. Great movie.
Yeah, I mean, I thought it was ahead of its time. I think
Yeah.
it's James Cameron. It's it's a
Mhm.
big budget movie. I did buy it as a kid. I bought the double VHS.
Oh, I think everyone had that as a kid. Double VH. Yep. Because you got to watch it in 2 parts. It's so long.
Yeah, and
Mhm.
now every movie is about 3.5 hours, which is wild.
Yeah. People like, it's funny because kids nowadays, like, I'm 31, so kids are like 25, 20, like, oh man, this movie's 3 hours. I barely watch it. I'm like, dude, what? That's like a normal movie.
Yeah, but they'll
As long
binge
as
a
you,
whole series.
yeah, like yeah, exactly. Like, oh yeah, they'll binge 10 episodes in one day, and it's like, all right, it's weird. ADHD nowadays.
Yeah, definitely. Speaking of ADHD, obviously you are creating this content and it's doing well in shorts.
Yeah,
How is it doing well? Because you're putting everything in the shorts, and that's where people are just either they're going to watch it or they're just going to slide through.
yeah,
Um, when you do you put them in regular format, like a full format? Because I know a shorts is about a minute, 90 seconds. Is there
yeah.
are these videos longer that you're cutting them down?
I used to make longer videos, but then once I started making just vertical, like 9 by 16,
Mhm.
that's when my channel actually blew up even more, especially my YouTube. Um, I only do vertical now because horizontal I feel like is dying, which sucks. 'Cause I used to make horizontal videos. My videos used to be like 3 to 4 minutes long. Now they're
Mhm.
all a minute to 90 seconds. Like back in the day, my videos were long. But I feel like the ADD or ADHD nowadays, like TikTok brain, people call it. It's
Yeah.
like people don't like that anymore, which sucks because it was, you can tell a story more in that 4 minutes. But I guess the videos I make, there's no story behind it. But I tried it. But but no, yeah, everything's vertical now, and everything is 60 seconds to 90. I try to keep it like, at least a minute, right around the sweet spot. But yeah, it's kind of weird because I went from that like overnight. I got one day, I'm like, whatever, I'll just make it 60 seconds now because everyone's doing that. And then views started skyrocketing. So I'm like, oh, maybe that's the way to go. So,
How would you attest like the success? Like you're just saying just changing the format made a big deal and
well, it was more because I would have to crop it for like Instagram Reels. I had to crop it for TikTok because it's all 9 by 16. I was shooting 16 by 9, so when you crop it, it kind of zooms in and makes it look weird. So if you
yeah.
just film it native in 9 by 16, then you know what you're working with. And I feel like the quality went up with that. And then um, I used to post longer videos on Instagram with like or horizontal, but then they didn't do well. So I feel like I feel like I was getting better. I was growing a little bit before that, but once I did that, it's like they both met at the same time, like switching to
Okay.
vertical, and I was gaining steam, and it kind of was like a match made in heaven, I guess. I started doing that like just over a year ago, everything vertical, and it's been pretty because everything's like vertical. You gotta crop it to like Instagram Reels, it's gotta be vertical. TikTok vertical, YouTube Shorts vertical. Facebook has Reels now. It's like nothing's 16 by 9 anymore except like TV.
You're
Those
right.
weird or like YouTube full videos, but I don't shoot those. Like everything I shoot is vertical now.
Mhm. Would you and maybe this is part of your plan at some point is would you want to shoot your own movie with your own original script and so forth?
Um, I feel like if I had a really solid script, maybe, but I feel like my script writing's better for short content because I feel like the longer it is, a movie's like 90 minutes is like the standard,
Hmm.
which is pretty short nowadays anyway. But I don't know if I'd be able to write a script that long, like by myself. So maybe one day it'd be kind of cool, but I never really wanted to. I've written a script once for a movie, just once, just to like see if I could do it.
Okay.
And but even like halfway through, I was kind of getting lazy and just putting stuff in just to fill pages. And so I don't know, maybe one day, but no desire right now to do it.
You're like it's a 15-page book report. Keep writing over the same thing. Yeah,
I
yeah.
actually got suspended in school once for was it eighth
Plagiarism.
grade? Yeah, because we had to do a book report and I completely forgot, and I flipped the book over and I literally just plagiarized what the book, the back of the book said. It was holes in the book, holes, and I didn't read it. And then the teacher gave me an F, and then she's like, "Come here," and then she goes, "What's? Tell me what's weird about the back of this book and your book report." I was like, "I have no idea." She goes, "It's literally word for word." I was like, "Ah, damn, all right." They actually suspended me over that. I was like, it was in school suspension, so whatever. But
Get
it
in
was kind of
trouble.
funny. And I got in grammar school or grade school, I got in a lot of trouble, but that's mostly because my teacher had it out for me. I think I'm going with that. Get like a
That's what you're
detention, like
doing.
get a detention like every day for stupid stuff. Nothing even major, but yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
Catholic school, so they got to be kind of strict.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Definitely. Well, I think this is a good place to take a break, and I would love to have you on again
yeah,
later
sure.
in the year. Also, I know you're you're kind of busy doing something over there, so
No, you're good.
um, again, thank you, Johnny, for being intoxicated with me.
Yeah,
This was a
sure.
lot of fun. I'd love to do it again. And if you need
Yeah.
help with anything, anywhere I can help, I'd love to
Appreciate
do
it.
that.
Yeah.
And I'll send you the shorts.
Yeah, let's do it during football season. Caleb's about to take over the NFL, so
Oh yeah, I'm excited. I'm super
yeah.
excited, man.
Yeah, he looked good yesterday. So yeah, hopefully during football season, let's do it again. I won't be in my car this time, so it'll be a lot better.
It's all good. It's all good. Maybe we'll find the location to do it live.
Definitely,
in
yeah.
ours.
Oh
All
yeah,
right, John. Thank you so much.
of course. Have a good one.